It brought friends.
Ah!
It's amazing. I remembered to play the music during the break, but I forgot to unmute it.
Oh.
What do you do in the immediate aftermath of the battle against the Drakes and the Wyvern?
Godric yells out, "Everybody help me look for my pick."
Okay,
I had to let go of it
I'm more concerned with checking to make sure that Godric isn't badly injured.
He is very badly injured.
Spiritually.
You find the pick fairly quickly, within a few minutes. I have unfortunate news for you.
It didn't survive the fall?
It did survive the fall, but one end of the pick is shattered.
Oh.
It will need to be reforged to be returned to its full mining quality. Still usable as a weapon.
Gotcha. I'm gonna immediately summon my my ghost that I was throwing around, and I'm going to apologize profusely for what I did to him.
You are not capable of resummoning any ancestor who has died. You attempt to do so, and
He didn't die.
He didn't die,
was
though.
dismissed right last moment.
Right?
oh, that's right. That's right. Yes.
It was a close call for him.
You may
I wanna
resummon
apologize for
him
doing it to
then,
him.
and I will allow you to make either a history or persuasion check to convince him that it wasn't a terrible idea.
Okay, I got a +2 to history, so he's
History, you cite precedent.
oh god.
Oh, God.
Why do my dice keep failing me?
To be fair, it was 1 away from a 20.
Right.
There are no words exchanged on their part, and again, no sound comes out, but you feel a deep sense of disappointment.
I mean, I'm gonna ask her, like, he's feeling disappointed in me. I'm just gonna, before I dismiss him, because I just don't want to leave him out and wandering around. But I'm gonna say, like, what else should I have done? I mean, like, if he can
When
pantomime a
you
better
say
option-
that, he goes and then begins jumping from side to side. He seems to be indicating dodging is a viable strategy.
I was 80 feet in the air.
I think he means dodging getting picked up. I would like everyone, by the way, to take a second point of exhaustion.
No.
You walked through the night in the rain,
Yeah, we did.
had a fight against the Fae, and then had another fight where a man was dropped over 100 feet out of the air.
We had a talking to a Fae. We didn't really,
There was
I
an
fought
arrow
an arrow.
shot. There were daggers. There was fighting. Your
There was.
adrenaline is going insane right now.
All right, you're right.
Y'all exhausted.
Definitely
So
gonna
I think we need to rest before we go back because our speed is now halved. So
Yeah.
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 Go back. What is your plan? That's a great
I don't
question.
know.
The 5 of you are together. You have found a war pick where one end is snapped. Godric is looking like someone who just fell out of the sky. You have a wyvern hovering ominously above you, occasionally making truly frightening noises.
I got the impression that it had left and we just knew it had
I
a
mean,
number.
you have a
Who knows?
predator drone keeping an eye on you. All right?
Okay.
There's
I'm
a
definitely
sign
gonna-
nearby that says speed limit enforced by aircraft.
All right. Well, if it strays within 600 feet, it's getting an arrow.
Sure, it stays way further than that. It doesn't need to be anywhere near you to keep an eye on you.
I'm gonna sit down under this tree and take a moment.
Okay? Take a breath. It's been a time.
It
You
has.
did just have to, moments before this fight started, relive the frankly horrifying trauma of killing a house full of people.
To be fair, I didn't take any damage, so it's not that long of a break. But like,
You just
I
need a
definitely
breath.
wanna, yeah,
Yeah.
I just survived a whole winged beast. What's the plan B? I mean, we can't really. We could take watches as far as like resting goes.
We can't stay here another night.
Yeah, we
If
can't stay
sleep
here
all
for
day
sure.
and then try to get out of here in the evening. The Fey mists will come back, and then we'll just be confounded again and have more problems.
We've got no way of sealing the Sky Knights.
Or figuring out if there's any place for us to like camp or something. We can't just camp out in the open, especially with the wyvern around.
I can
we
try and
make it-
find. I can. Is there anything around here that would indicate this terrain might have caves, Arthur? Something or like a hollow, so we can try and find.
Make a. I think it'll be survival because you're
Survival.
trying to find a place
Survival,
to stay. Normally, I would say nature, but
Yeah, I'll find the do survival. I'm going to use my inspiration. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. I was going to roll it, but anyway.
I mean, you should also roll it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
I'm using my inspiration on this one.
Okay. It's interesting that it doesn't re-roll the 1, even though with being halfling lucky, it technically should.
It did. It rolled because it's
It rolled 3 dice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
I only visibly
did.
saw 2 dice.
Yeah.
I saw 3
Very
appeared.
well. It re-rolled the 1 into a 10. Incredible.
So it knew it was going to be a 1 before you even rolled it? Question mark.
2 of you do not find a cave immediately, although it looks like this terrain may have such features. What instead you find is, I don't know if the word would be traipsing or kind of romping, meddling, stumbling. You hear something approaching and feel its presence from the birds getting out of the way. Animals running past you. Something is approaching you. The 2 of you are taking quiet looks around when you notice 4 men and women, humans, fanning out through the woods, talking between each other loudly. They seem to be discussing the nature of an inside joke about a bet. And a 5th person is on a floating platform that looks like a Segway with no wheels, which you recognize as a copter. They are in full plate armor and appear to have mounted their lance on the center of the Thopter's console so that if they fly towards something with speed, they can stab them with it.
All right, I'll jump up and down, wave my arms. Hey, over here.
All 5 of them immediately turn towards you.
Yeah.
One of them then turns around and checks their back trail.
Yeah.
They seem to relax when they recognize who you are and begin moving towards you, crossing the distance of the forested swamp. The one on the Thopter releases his hands from it, and it slowly floats to the ground. He takes his helmet off, tosses his hair back, salt and pepper in that Vegeta-like widow's peak with a neatly cropped beard. He looks exhausted and frankly very hot to be doing a morning patrol in full heavy armor plate mail. And he says, but ho, you are the mercenaries. You have orders
Yes.
for us?
I'm Kithrick's Dustblade.
Yes, I know who you are.
Okay, not orders. No, we just fought a bunch of drakes, and there's a wyvern around. But we've been going through the night, and we need to either get back or get somewhere safe.
Sorry, you're getting kind of away from the point. Where is the wyvern?
That's a point in the general direction of where we last saw it.
Okay. He turns to look at one of his men, and she just kind of shrugs and turns to look at one of the people next to her, and he just goes, "What? There's 5 of us." Yes, very well. A wyvern is truly incredible. My apologies. I should introduce myself, Sir Karamic of the Imperial Order of Sky Knights, 5th Detachment. I briefly saw all of you on the boat, but sorry, what are you doing here exactly? Fighting wyverns and drakes is good and all, but
So look, we were worried about them attacking the monastery, so we headed out last night to try and find them ourselves. And then we had this whole tussle with the Fae. And then this morning we came out of the Feywild and there were drakes there and we fought the drakes. But then a wyvern turned up and tried to kill our friend and we were shooting at the wyvern, but it's flown away out of range and it's now just hovering around watching us like a hawk wyvern thing.
sure. And you were ordered to do this, or you weren't ordered to do this?
No. We took initiative.
We're mercenaries. We can do, mercenary things. Do you have a way for us to get back to the camp anytime soon? We're quite tired.
It's a long walk up the mountain again. Old Mount Jith.
Is there any place we can stay for the night that isn't the mountain?
We did secure a camp nearby. Yes.
Perfect. Can you lead us there?
You can tell he's kind of uncomfortable about this situation. I would like Tanira and Kithtrix to make persuasion checks. They're the two who talked.
Come on.
Amazing.
Dude.
Amazing. So good. That's a 2 for the folks at home. And that's a 5 for Kithtrix.
We're really tired. We're not the best speechers right now, okay?
Oh, that's right. You should actually be making these at disadvantage.
There's an ability check though, or a skill check?
Oh, no, these are skill checks.
Any worse?
These are skill checks.
Yeah.
No. He will say, although I think that this, I think these are ability checks. Skill check isn't a thing. You make an ability check and you add proficiency plus a skill to something, I think.
Okay.
So you technically should roll a disadvantage, but it doesn't matter because you can't get worse than failing. I suppose you could roll a 1. You can roll a 1.
Yeah. There we go.
We both rolled 2s.
So you roll a 2. Amazing. All right. You can tell he's very uncomfortable with this situation. Whether it's because he's very formal and this is outside of, orders. He still allows you to come with him, but you're fairly certain, all 4 of you, that there will be a report filed about this situation.
That's fine.
He takes the thopter and puts it up on his shoulder and says, well, you come with us then. It's going to be a long walk.
Fuck.
I sing a jaunty song to try and soothe our spirits as we walk.
Make a performance check.
Is
And what's
it
the nature?
AC/DC?
First off, what language is the song in, and what's the nature of the song?
It'll be a song in common so that everyone understands.
But it will be with disadvantage, it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be with disadvantage. Oh,
You're
that's not
tired.
working.
Her
You're
throat's
Bard,
dry.
you got this.
If you still have inspiration, you could throw it
No,
at this.
I used it to fight earlier because I needed it. Performance.
Have you used all your
it-
Bardic inspiration?
Well, I can't give myself bardic inspiration.
Not until
I
you're
forgot.
much higher level.
Yeah. Okay, performance at disadvantage. Ooh.
Damn, that was
Oh.
a natural 20.
That's
Still got a
13 is
Still-
good enough.
Yeah, it's still respectable.
Yeah. It's just a pleasant marching song that talks about, the wonder of nature, the fresh air, high spirits and camaraderie, that sort of thing.
Shubar.
One of the people marching with you, one of the squires, says, "That's a right proper song then." And he starts whistling along with it as he walks. And, one of his companions, the woman who was looked at before, she goes, "All right, cut it off. You don't have the energy to be doing all that stomping about. We got 2 more patrols today." He's like, it's my energy, Sergeant, and just keeps jauntily marching with it.
I like his spirit.
Yes.
Well, I mean, he had a rest last night, so
Yeah. In that case, I find him annoying.
he's got a long day ahead of him. But group perception check
Sparky.
real quick.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh yeah. Let's do the group perception check first to see if you can keep track in the wyvern, and then we'll talk to Sparky.
Man.
It'll be with disadvantage again. I assume.
Yes, it is with disadvantage. 10 is all right. 5 is bad. 10 is all right. 9, okay, half passed, so you're good. At some point before the sun is about a quarter of the way through the sky, the wyvern breaks off, dives east, and then glides ahead of you.
That's not great.
Towards the monastery.
Yeah.
The monastery is northwest of you.
Oh.
Okay.
You said we're heading east?
You are headed east.
Towards their camp.
Yes.
Yep.
Deeper into the forested swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least
called-
we'll get a rest before we go there.
Some call these haunted woods, others call it the woods near Jith. There's not a lot of people who put this place on maps.
Is it Jith or Jith?
Jith. It's Sith with a J. Don't try to computer language me.
It's not peanut butter.
It could be. You
Um,
don't know.
You wanted to talk to Sparky?
Yes. Sparky,
Yes.
how are you feeling now? That Drake was doing something to you. Do you feel okay?
Yes, we engaged in a contest of souls. He wished to absorb my power and to turn himself into a true ancestral dragon.
You were looking weaker. Are you okay now, though?
Yes, I'm fine. I will recover in time. Unless he had fully slain me using such cruel tricks, I would return, as I always do. We get a quick flashback of you in the first few weeks of having Sparky like falling over a log, the log rolling downhill and crushing him, and he is very clearly dead. And when you wake up the next morning, Sparky is there. Sparky moving along in a windstorm, and like a falling tree limb hits him and he dies again. Next morning, alive in your camp again. Just Sparky constantly dying to being hit with pieces of wood. And yet the next day they always have returned. Sparky appears somewhat troubled, but still proud and arrogant. Sparky looks like they want to be carried, but overall are treating the 9 of you as if you are escorting them to their next location.
Okay. Do you mind how would you feel about changing your aspect in case we fight that wyvern again? Perhaps a different aspect might be helpful.
You are my Drake Warden. I have given you discretion as our souls have melted.
Okay, well, let's do that then. I'm going to change his aspect to one of poison immunity and that poison damage.
Okay. He turns green.
Yeah. Let's see if this works in.
Did anybody else?
Hey,
see
it
that?
worked.
That was
What I set up in Foundry worked.
Cool.
Nice.
Oh,
All of you just notice Sparky just suddenly turned green. There's more to it than that as well. They become leaner and longer. His teeth grow, and occasionally little bubbles of poison trail behind him.
Yep, not touching that.
That fall must have shook me up more than I thought.
your dragon has gone off.
It's one thing he can do. So he's not limited to just the lightning abilities. He can take any aspect. Oh, I mean, I've seen him do a bunch anyway. I've seen him have like a fire aspect. I've seen him have like an icy aspect.
Fantastic.
It's really cool. He can only change once a day though.
Oh.
All right.
Still, do you change his name because Sparky obviously with
No, I mean he was like that when he first came out of the egg, and so that why he was Sparky. But
Is his name Ivy now?
So it should be noted that none of you can understand what Sparky is saying, with the exception, of course, of Sparky's Drake Warden. You can, however, understand pronouns, so you know that Sparky starts by saying Gwyneria. And again, everything I say after this point, you can't understand.
Okay.
Gwyneria, you offer me the gravest insult by indicating that I am Kithtrix's dragon. Truth is reversed in its entirety. Kithtrix is my Drake Warden. It belongs to me. I do not belong to it. And in the second place, my name is not Sparky at all. None of you could pronounce my name in your feeble common tongue. Draconic language is the superior true language of pure magic. Everything said in it is fully magical. My full name could not leave your lips. Why are you moving your head in such a mocking way? Once more, you must bow before me and show respect. And Sparky full on stops at this point and moves. Again, small creature moves basically up to Gwyneria's knee and sits before her.
Look at that, Gwen. It knows your name.
Bow.
Couple of things. She can't understand you right now because she needed a spell for that before.
Bow before me.
Sparky. But one thing though, so we're partners. I'm not yours. You're not mine. We're a team. We look out for each other as we always have.
Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
I'm saying all this in common, by the way, as well.
Sparky says to you, I am upset by her lack of understanding. Indicate to her that she should bow before me to show respect.
But you're not respecting her.
That's a great point.
She doesn't.
And I'd love for you to make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
When AP wins because of disadvantage.
I don't think I will. And I didn't.
11.
Shit.
Sparky turns to consider what you have said. Turns to Gwyneria and narrows his eyes. And then slinks back, like full on body, whoosh, tail whipping back and forth, but forcing Gwyneria to walk in the rapidly evaporating into air poison bubbles that it leaves directly behind it.
I pop them with my sword.
They're only there for a second or two, so you got to be really fast, like a good sword fighter.
Well, it's good practice.
The details of our partnership must be further elucidated, Drake Warden. You make a point that I would have belabored, that of us belonging to each other. There is a nature of domination with all dragons. My true name and purpose are still unknown to you, and yet they are at the center point of this quest. You know of Dragon Chess, perhaps?
I've never learned to play, but I know of it.
This dragon blight that comes, the spawn of Unash, it is but the first in a series of moves that will take place over the next 1,000 years. Forces of truly evil magic have begun to move in a play to take what they can for themselves. I must seek the longest path.
And well, I'm not going to be around for thousands of years because we're going to do it together.
Perhaps. It would seem that way. I have had other Drake Wardens before. They have failed me.
Well, I can't promise I won't fail you, but I can promise I won't abandon you.
Sparky begins crying tears of poison bubbles. Who has a passive perception of 13 or higher?
Me.
Okay. You're muted. Muted.
I got a 12.
Okay. You're looking very
15.
intently, Neo Buzzard.
Yeah, nope.
Okay. The two of you still hear the 5 Imperial Sky Knights discussing very quietly whether or not they should be killing Sparky. The knight is insistent that Sparky appears to be an ally, and the other 4 are more along the lines of any dragon that's dead is a good dragon. In fact, the only good dragon is a dead dragon.
All right, so I will round on them.
Yeah. Catch up to them.
Hey. Yeah, well, sorry. I mean, I'm going straight to them. I didn't realize that was overhead. Okay.
Yeah, they're just slightly ahead because they're leading you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I can hear what you're talking about. We came to you for help. We came for you to better understand this and then to help you. Why are you talking about killing our friend?
The knight turns to you, tapped her on his shoulder, and says, I offer you great apologies. My fellows have done you wrong. There will be no further discussion about any attacks on our allies. I can only hope that you understand that we have suffered great losses in the 5th detachment, personally and very recently, 2 dragons. And so there may be some sentiment, some anger left there. I apologize and am shamed by the actions of my men. And
we're here to help you stop that. And Sparky's going to be a part of that too.
I agree with what you're saying. You can only hope that that will be the truth of the matter.
I'm sure I could say it more eloquently after I've slept.
You all seem quite tired indeed. Well, I hope you're prepared for Imperial rations.
Aha! I can find food and water as a free action with my wander ability. No, it's not a free action. Like it doesn't require a roll.
We have a chef.
Yeah,
That should work.
I can cook.
Yeah.
what you
Sorry,
find.
I can find food and fresh water for myself and up to 5 other people each day. I think that won't include all the Sky Knights, but I can share good breeze for those who need them. I've still got 9 good breeze left.
Well, you pick up some wild okra and other such swampy herbs and shit. What? You rude to describe it as, man. You're in a swamp.
I didn't think I'd be hearing swampy herbs today.
Well, let me tell you something. There ain't no potatoes out here.
Are there cattails?
I think a cattail is an okra. I think those are the same thing.
I don't know. I know that the fluffy bit is good for starting fires, and then
Any sort of small game you could find in a swamp?
Yeah.
I suppose we can cook frogs.
Cattails are a perennial plant.
Maybe some reptiles of some kind.
maybe
I
it's
could
maybe
help
they're more
with?
common in Canada. I don't know.
Some
I watch
gator.
too much Survivor Man.
Some fantasy gator.
They're not the same thing, but they're very close. They're just oh no, they're not close at all. You're talking about the reed, the cattail
Yeah.
reed. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It looks like a hot dog or a corn dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, you find that.
Okay. I'm sure whatever I can find, Godric can cook it well
Sure.
with disadvantage.
I don't think I have to actually roll anything.
You do
for
it as part of a long rest, correct? So it's not. There's no disadvantage.
It's
part of it.
either long rest or short rest.
Well, I think you all definitely want to take a long rest.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Please.
The sun has almost reached noonday as you continue to make your way further east. Your hosts explained to you that even though you've traveled all night and most of the day, you're still not even, still very distantly at the western end of this forest. and that they, given the colorations that they're seeing and their knowledge of draconic lore, that they believe that is both a green and a black dragon present in this forested swamp.
Look.
One of them, the one who appears to have been their aerial lookout, quietly mentions, when the rest of them aren't around, that I used to hunt here. Can't call it poaching if no one owns the land. Before the king of the Western Wastes ran amok in the area and really cut off my supply train. Signed up for the Imperial Sky Knights, and I joined them, just a few weeks ago. They picked me up at the colony. It's been a hell of a time. Anyway, this forest wasn't so dark, so wet before. There's a dark magic on this land now. Something's changing it. All that Fey mist nonsense you've been talking about, that wasn't there before. Something's changing the land here.
It's probably the hag and the dragons.
Keep your head on your shoulders.
Or did the lands change because they came, or did they come because something changed the lands?
Couldn't tell you. Just keep an eye out.
Either way, let's see how we can change it back. Such a sad fate for a forest.
It's time for a little bit of American history, my favorite. Some of you may know that New York City is, depending on who you talk to, the biggest city, most populated city in the entire world. Some say Tokyo, some occasionally say Dubai or places in China. But the key point is New York City is built around Manhattan, which happens to be a giant, very natural super foundation. Despite being an island, it is made entirely of very workable rock on top of a shelf of rock. Normally, you would not want to go underground in a forest that is also a swamp, because you would be wet. You'd be in an aquifer, essentially. They take you to what looks naturally a enormous rock that is driven into the ground and has a cave system going down into it. Sort of like rushes and ferns have been laid over it to block the entrance and exit. Anyone who sees like a human or another like sentient creature would notice it immediately, right? But like animals would not be able to distinguish, oh, this is clearly blocking a door. They just see, hey, rock face, something there, rock face.
I found the cave.
Almost like a hobbit hole, drilled perhaps naturally above the waterline. It starts and then goes down into it. It goes down and down and down until you reach that cellar temperature. It's like solidly 54 degrees Fahrenheit. It's kind of humid, but not like as much as the surrounding swamp. It's not bad for a place that's only filled with guttering torchlight and just very light Imperial scouting supplies. Some, wood that has been carved into seats, rations, just like glass canned whey bread.
Where are the beds?
Well, everybody but the sergeant and the knight begin chuckling, and they just kind of indicate to the ground. Do you have blankets or bedrolls on your inventory sheet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yep.
I was gonna say, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's part of like a standard kit.
It is part of a adventurer's kit if you have that.
I do.
Or like a
Do I?
dungeoneering kit. All right. Well,
No, I
Tanira,
don't think so.
one of them
What
loans
was
you their
what was
blanket.
your what's your background, Tanira? What background did you take?
Carpenter.
Tanira, you can have my bedroll. I'm just sit in the corner and do my dream walking, if you will.
You're
That's
trancing?
okay. I'm trancing. That's
Just
all I
like
need to do. I don't.
Kind of grab it and just say thank you.
I can be
Just
cold while doing it. So
roll myself
there you
up into a burrito.
Okay.
I make myself as comfortable as possible in the corner, and I will trance away for a couple hours and be one with. Maybe I'll see the satyr. Satyr? Satyr? How do we want to pronounce that?
Satyr. I barely know it.
Satyr?
Uh,
That's his excuse.
And then I fall asleep.
We're doing a long rest. I'm gonna make the cook's treats.
what are you making?
I
I want to know what you're cooking.
I think we all want to know what you're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the sad whey bread, I think I'm gonna try to.
Sad whey bread?
Yeah.
You
said it
mean
was
the
sad whey bread.
ancestral, thousands of years old elven bread where one bite is an entire meal? Sad whey bread?
Yep.
Oh my god. All right, continue.
So I'm gonna prepare a meal for us with whatever Kithrex was able to find, but with whatever's left over, I'm gonna use that to make and some flour to make biscuits, like a loaded biscuit.
I mean, how loaded are we talking about?
I mean, it depends on what we have left over. Whatever's left over gets stuffed into the biscuit. and
Yeah,
then
I
baked.
feel like if we've been talking about having like small reptiles and such, we're talking about like a little baby crocodile meat stuffed in there.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Oh, you guys haven't had crocodile meat.
I have.
Eat it-
Crocodile
eat it-
You know,
meat.
yeah, I know you and I have, which is why I'm laughing when they're like, "Oh, sounds good."
Yeah.
I mean,
it
it's
wasn't
not bad, but it's also nothing I'd be like, man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out and order me some crocodile.
Also depends how much lard you use.
Yeah, it's true. The amount of fat and salt you throw in something will change the way it tastes. And if Southern cooking is any indication, you can eat anything as long as it's got enough of both.
Right. True.
We will say salt and pepper deep fried crocodile tail.
I
Alligator
don't
tail.
think you have the capability to deep fry.
We don't have that,
No.
but it
We
is
have
delicious if you do it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. I want to make a point that because everyone was talking, I'm assuming at this point I've heard Kithrick's yelling at the guards for talking about attacking or killing Sparky, and I want to make a point while I'm cooking to like waggle my spoon at them and tell them they don't get to eat any of this because they were being mean.
Wow. I'd like you to make a charisma saving throw as they begin begging you for fresh cooked meals.
Charisma save.
Yep.
Dwarves are good at that, right?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean,
that-
I will. If I hear this, I will be going to Godric and saying,
Oh,
"Yeah, come on, like
You feel bad afterwards. You feel bad. Just your conscience.
come on, Godric, an eye for an eye, and everyone goes blind. Like they did the wrong thing, but they've admitted to it."
But you still have one other eye.
I'm like, yeah, but to be a dwarf is to suffer.
I think you recover all hit points at the end of a long
In the
rest.
long rest, yeah, you do.
Yeah. And you get half of your hit die back.
I'm just worried
Anyway.
about the exhaustion.
You lose one level of exhaustion, so you still have a level of exhaustion. Which means you still have the halvesies on.
Yeah, skill checks.
Yep. With that said, the four of you plus Sparky get through. You essentially wake up at moonrise. Get through the day alive, which was somewhat questionable at the beginning and middle of this episode. Sparky gathers the four of you up and says, I think we need to have a talk about what we're doing here. And that's the end of the episode.
We didn't die.
Sparky shows up
Yeah,
just
right.
like this cat. Exactly how it goes down.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We need to have a
I know.
chat.
Yeah. My food bowl is empty.
Yeah, for real. It's supposed to be fed 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Let's do the usual. How are we feeling about this episode? How you been? And then we'll do outros.
This episode got escalated very quickly.
Right.
Although I am very happy with my feat choice.
I love playing through combat scenarios, but this one really had me on edge.
I think that's it's weird for me. Like I don't know if I intellectualize things or not, but for instance, when James was running a horror investigation scenario for me, I was never like, wow, this is horrifying. I feel stressed right now. It was more, damn it. Why can't I find anything that gives me conductivity in my inventory? Can't I get something that will allow me to take the wires and to cut them or remove them? I was never like, wow, this is super scary and I'm very stressed. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to relate to people when that's happening. But in the last two episodes, the two of you up there at the top have been like, wow, it was really bad. Like I was stressed the whole time, and I'm like, oh man, I feel bad. I didn't feel any of that. I'm sorry that happened to you.
No, it's a good thing because if there's no threat or chance of loss, then the combat's boring. It's just throwing dice until everything is off the table.
Yep.
And so that threat that someone that we could die or we could lose something. I lost my pick. It's still functional, but it's broken.
You
How
better
am I
not
gonna
let
fix
another
that?
dwarf see that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm already trying to think about what I'm going to do to that.
There's
I'm only going to trust a dwarf to fix it, but how's a dwarf going to react when they see it?
there's no risk, and then the ward isn't as sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't feel at risk. It's just strange for me when people are like, man, I was so stressed during that. And I was like, really?
Yeah, same. I was like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I was literally like going through my inventory. Do I have anything that could help? And I was like, no, I don't.
I will say, Andrew, I did cut you off when you were saying your plan. That's because I knew probably long before you did that was exactly the way to get out of that situation. When I picked you up, I was like, oh, God, I can't believe it's this guy. It's the one guy who, if I pick him up, he could get out of it.
Yeah.
I was glad you figured that out before you hit the ground.
Well, the tough part is that you've added the twist that every time one of them dies, they're gone for good.
Yeah, I want you to feel the pain of that.
Yeah. I need to have like a talk with them about like,
you know, the
hey,
worst part
happening.
is that in actual Echo Knight, you feed a multiversal counterpart of yourself to death in the same way.
Yeah.
It's you're killing yourself when you're an Echo Knight normally.
Yes. So I thought this would be a cool twist, but now I'm like, oh man, there's a
Now you're
this
killing
is
your
just like
ancestors.
another aspect of me. Like we're talking about the 1 in 5 other universes because I rolled a 6. The 5 or 1 roll is what died that day. No, these are people that lived and have stories, and like I knew of them, and
They've gone to their eternal rest. You call them back in order to fight with them once more.
And not die.
I mean, most of them are
gone.
eternally rested. At least one of them isn't. He's still very alive and suffering eternally in the Fey realm.
But at least now we know.
Yes.
You know he's suffering? Does that make it better?
To go back for him.
I mean, now we can, if we want to, like go and save him, we know he exists.
Okay. Gonna make that a side quest for season 2.
Yeah, for real.
Sure.
Maybe
It'll be our beach episode.
How do you grow a mushroom proper arm though? Like it
grows onto you.
weird.
Yeah,
You
it
ever been to
definitely
a game
grows
store?
onto
There's
you.
some unwatched people I'm pretty sure could grow mushrooms on themselves.
Let's not talk about convention goers.
No, I was saying at a game store. Just general game store. There's always one guy that's a little ripe.
Yeah. There's a reason why Game of Funk is a term.
Yeah, for sure. I will be on a Pendragon stream on twitch.tv/Bonway in 30 minutes, I think, where I'll be playing Duke Gorlow, very honorable man who was deeply wronged. And that's all I'll say about it. What do you guys got for outros? James, let's start with you.
All right. I'm Grimdark James. I'll be back here on Saturday for the penultimate, hopefully, Rogue Trade episode. And then obviously back here again on Sunday for some more generic fantasy adventure. Otherwise, find me in the Discord or on my own. There's various social medias under Grimdark James or Grimdark Podcast.
Who wants to go next?
I'm going to say Neo Buzzard because he just said something in chat, so he's gained my attention.
I'm Neo Buzzard. You can find me on AP's Discord. I tend to lurk around there a lot. I paint minis for his BattleTech shows.
And not for his BattleTech shows.
Sometimes not the BattleTech shows. I just finished up one for Bearded for Zanira. You guys want one done or have any questions, reach out. That's about all I got.
Yeah.
All right, Bearded, I heard your name, so I'm going to skip you and go to Lauren.
Oh, hello, friends. I'm Lauren. I have a YouTube channel, Lauren Teacher Shaw, with 947 subscribers. That's a okay number.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. You know, I don't understand how user hours work because they're always going down rather than up, but people are watching videos, so maybe you'll watch a video and maybe it'll actually go up. I don't know. You want to learn about sword fighting and weapons and armor and cool stuff and why we always have jokes about, why I'm not supposed to sword fight because we don't want to correct it. But it's okay because the game is just a game. Well, yeah, go check it out. That's what's going on with me.
Hey guys, my name is Bearded Jalapeno. I am a Twitch streamer / freelance artist. You can find me on all my socials at Bearded Jalapeno. I'll be back on Twitch in about an hour. I got to do some inking. What else?
Why were you dressed as Mario this morning?
Why wasn't you dressed as Mario? I don't know.
We just wear black all the time.
My brother and I just wanted to dress up, and it was close to Halloween, so we just did a Mario / Luigi
respectable reason.
Yeah, you just
There's
gotta dress up as Mario.
Discussion of whether Waluigi and Mario are actually evil in your chat,
or if they were brothers, because we wanted to do the cosplay, but if they're not brothers, it doesn't really work out. I mean, it depends on which game you're looking at. Apparently, that's what chat told me. I don't know if it's true.
That's wrong. They're brothers.
Chat's wrong. That's what I thought too. That's what I thought. But yeah, I pretty much live on Discord. So if you want to chat, I'm usually in AP's Discord, or I got my own, and you can find all those links on my Twitch channel / socials. So yeah, that's me.
All right. We'll be back next week. Maybe, just maybe, our heroes will level up next time.
Yes.
Could happen. It's possible. It's in the cards.
Gonna get my barbarian level.
See you then.